DeSantis is gone. DeSantis is gone. He's just about over. I think if he ever made a comeback, it would be the greatest comeback in political history. He's gone. I endorsed him. He was gone before I endorsed him. I endorsed him. You know that, right?
All right. The race for 2024 and the GOP nomination is certainly heating up. I mean, it's hot. In Iowa and Pennsylvania, particularly this past weekend, as former President Trump continued his attacks on Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, or DeSanctimonious, as he calls him, while making it clear that he will not be on the debate stage in August.
All right, let's bring in our panel now to discuss these latest headlines. It is former New York Congressman Peter King joining us, and also commentary editor over at the Washington Times, Ms. Kelly Sadler. Great to see you both. Thanks for your time today.
Hey guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for having us.
So, of course, the polls are showing Trump with a commanding lead. We want to put up this one from the Times Siena poll. When it comes to 2024 Republican presidential primary, today they find 49% is Trump and 25% DeSantis. So big lead there for Trump. And an interesting kind of sort of new way to attack Trump from DeSantis' communication director over the week, guys. Let's put this up. They want to point out, saying, quote, Trump has spent over $60 million this year on two things: falsely attacking Ron DeSantis and paying his own legal fees, not a cent on defeating Joe Biden. Governor DeSantis' sole focus, by contrast, has been campaigning for this country's future, defeating Biden and reversing the decline of America. It's an interesting way to attack him, pulling in the money. Congressman King, I want to get your reaction, because I think a lot of the small donors who are supporting Trump, in comparison to the less small donors supporting DeSantis, may almost know that. Like, they know that he's paying legal bills. They may also know that Jack Smith has racked up $9.2 million in taxpayer funds to go after him.
Yeah, first of all, what Donald Trump is doing is totally legal, and it's permissible under the law. But even apart from that, this is within the spirit of the law, because he is being indicted, he's being investigated because of his political activity and because of what he did as president. So this is a legitimate reason, and for him to have any chance of being nominated and being elected, he has to fight off these indictments. And so that is a legitimate use of the money. It's not as if he did something which has nothing to do with politics. Like you can go out and shoot somebody on the street. That'd be, that you couldn't use campaign funds for. But as far as this, where it's directly related to his job as candidate and as president, it's a very, very legitimate cause. But I do think, though, it shows a potential problem for President Trump, in that if these indictments continue, how much it'll slow down his campaign. So even though he's ahead, it's still not a foregone conclusion that he will get the nomination.
Kelly, so former President Trump got a lot of no's from the crowd when he brought up the subject of debating in the first GOP presidential debate. I want to play a clip real quick, and then I want to get your thoughts about what the president said about taking on his fellow Republicans. Listen to this real quick.
Sir, will you debate? Will you debate? You know, they were all asking me that question. Sir, will you stand up there against a hostile network? Fox. Will you stand up there against a hostile network?
You don't hear there is all the people saying, boo, no, don't do it. And, as you were talking about, Bianca, this latest poll, from New York Times, Siena College shows he still has that commanding lead. I mean, over DeSantis and even Chris Christie, who's been his most vociferous critic, who's at like not even 2%, I think. So I guess the question is, does Donald Trump stand to lose more by debating than by debating? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. He has nothing to gain by going to these debates. The American public have seen him debate before, and they've seen him as president for the last 4 years. So he's got a proven job record, a proven ability to execute as the president of the United States. So why get on the debate stage and take incoming from both Fox News moderators as well as everyone else on that stage who wants to vie for the top spot?
But doesn't it give him a chance to really go toe-to-toe with some of his greatest detractors, including most notably Chris Christie? I mean, don't you think people want to see that? Voters want to see that?
Well, Chris Christie definitely wants to see that. He wants to relish that moment on the stage like he did with Marco Rubio in 2016. He wants to take punches out on Trump and see if they land. However, I just don't think Chris Christie isn't polling very high. There is no never Trump lane within the GOP primary. So why does President Trump want to get out on the stage and basically take all this incoming from other candidates who don't even have a chance for the nomination?
As he said in Erie, you guys just want entertainment, which it would be, but politically probably doesn't make sense. I do want to talk a moment about, DeSantis in New Hampshire today, Congressman. We've talked about this reboot. He's fired a lot of staff. Moving forward, today is a really important day. Next few weeks could be important for the DeSantis campaign. You heard all the things Trump said about him. One of his responses was, if you're up by so much, you wouldn't be worried about anybody else. In Politico today, they wrote, the DeSantis says, the fact that a lot of people are talking shows that I'm a threat. Do you think DeSantis is a threat to Donald Trump, Congressman King?
He's nowhere near the threat he was several months ago. I've never seen anyone get off to a worse start in this campaign. No, it's not over yet. But as far as why Donald Trump keeps going after him, Donald Trump always has to have an opponent out there that he can attack, and he wants to make sure that DeSantis is crushed once and for all. Also, I can say, as far as debate, I think conventional wisdom is and logic is he shouldn't take part in the debate. But just from knowing Donald Trump, where he always breaks all the rules of politics and comes out on top, if he does make a last-minute appearance and does well in the debate, that could end the primaries once and for all. But it would be a roll of the dice. And, but since he is a bit of a riverboat gambler, he may do it. But I would say he's probably not going to.
All right. Congressman Peter King. I like that notion. That's a good point. Thank you.
Congressman King, Kelly Sadler, great to see you both. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.